Hey everyone, it's Dr. Austin Chang, and before I get into the vaccine and the vaccine rollout, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge everything that's been going on in our country this past week with the events at the Capitol. I hope that everyone here has had a moment to process everything that's been going on, and if you haven't had a moment to process everything or still feel really off, I just want to let you know that it's totally okay. It's such an uncertain time. I've been feeling super off kilter over the past week and have been trying to kind of do my best to get through the days. And for those of you who might not understand why it's been so difficult for a lot of us, I think if I can speak from my own perspective, I feel like the United States has always been a beacon of democracy and hope, and to see it threatened in such a way is just really jarring. And you might be wondering, like, why are you talking about this on a channel that's about health? But the fact of the matter is that health and medicine and delivering healthcare is totally impacted by politics and political decisions. What protections are in place for our patients, what options there are for our patients, what funding there is for medical research. I could literally make a whole different video about this, but politics and the government have a direct impact on how our pandemic has been handled, which brings me to the vaccine and the vaccine rollout, which I'm going to talk about right now. So first and foremost, this has no reflection on my employer or the hospital I work at, because I don't know every single nuance as to how our hospital makes its decisions, and I don't know what the purchasing agreements are with the vaccine, etc. But I can tell you about my experience and how I viewed the entire situation, not only where I work, but all across the country. So I got the first dose of the vaccine a little over a week ago, right here on my left arm. And right off the bat, I'll tell you that the only side effect that I really had was some pain in my arm, and I slept it off, and the next morning, I had no pain anymore. And while I think most people had a very similar experience as I did after getting the first dose of the vaccine, I personally know some colleagues who had more severe side effects, like fevers, chills, muscle aches, that sort of thing. So I got the Pfizer vaccine, and when I got the vaccine, it was a little over 2 weeks after the vaccine was first rolled out at our hospital. Look, I understand how incredibly privileged I am to have gotten the vaccine relatively early compared to the general public. As a health professional, I'm in a category that is priority right now in getting the vaccine, but I also want to share my perspective on not having gotten the vaccine up until that point. But it's in the context of being a health professional who does aerosolizing procedures, sometimes on patients who are sick with COVID, and that's the reason why they're hospitalized. Also seeing other colleagues get it in the hospital. Now, we have a whole priority system where doctors and nurses and other health workers in the emergency room and intensive care unit get it first, and that totally is understandable. But I was also seeing colleagues from across the country in my field receive the vaccine before me, and in some situations, some hospitals were reporting their entire staff being vaccinated in a much quicker fashion. But as much as I was reading about hospitals doing a great job at rolling out the vaccine, I was also seeing reports of slow rollouts and controversies around certain groups getting it and others not, like trainees and medical students being left out of the equation, even if they were working in the emergency room or the intensive care unit. I remember back in December when the estimates were 20 million people vaccinated by the end of December. Clearly that didn't happen, and to date, there's been about 21 million doses of the vaccine distributed and only about 5 million actually administered of the first dose. So that lag between distribution and administration, as well as my own personal experience in the hospital, really got me thinking about this whole vaccine rollout situation. So with that in mind, I received the Pfizer vaccine, which I know there inherently are some challenges with storing the vaccine. It has to be stored at much colder temperatures. There might have to be special freezers for that. I don't know how many freezers there are at our hospital, and whether or not that has impacted how much of the vaccine can be administered at a time. And aside from storing issues, which I know are unique to this vaccine and don't necessarily apply to other vaccines that we normally administer, there's also staffing issues, because I know there's certain considerations about having people who are trained in managing the airway in case anyone does have a reaction, possibly having those administering the vaccine already having been vaccinated or already having COVID. I don't know for a fact if that's the case at my hospital, but staffing obviously impacts how much of the vaccine can be given out at a time. In my personal experience, after I received the vaccine, there had to be a 15-minute wait where I was monitored for reactions before I could be signed off and let go. Of course, I can't ignore other external factors like the fact that we had a bunch of holidays in December, winter weather that could have affected shipment, the lack of the federal government's involvement in leaving the distribution up to states. But I did see on January 6th that the Department of Health and Human Services decided to invest $3 billion to help states roll out the vaccine quicker. So I just want to come on here and let you all know about how I've been doing with the vaccine. I get the second dose on January 19th, so maybe I can make another video after I get that dose. I have read and heard from other colleagues that after the second dose, people get stronger reactions, so I can definitely let you know how I do after the second dose. In any case, I know this video was super brief. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and consider subscribing if you want to see more of me, and turning on the notifications bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. If you've gotten the vaccine so far or are waiting to get the vaccine, please let me know any experiences that you've had in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And I know that this is such an unstable, uncertain time that we're all dealing with. Please just know that you're not alone, and it's okay to feel uncertain, and maybe I'm just saying that for myself, but if it makes a difference that I'm saying it to you, then we're all in this together. All right, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.